Okay, here we go. I wanted to make a video because this is the first unit, just kind of going through some of the answers here to these questions. Um, so here are the 20 questions that are required of you this week or this unit. So let's take a look. All right, what are two other ways to name line EF? And I know that they're referring to a line because there is an arrow on top. All right, or arrows going both directions. All right, so EF, there's point F, there's point E, it's going that way. So we could name this EB because these points are collinear, or I could do BF because they are collinear. All right, so there's two ways. EB with the line on top, or we could name this BF with the lines going, with the arrows going both directions. All right, what are two other ways to name plane C? Or yeah, what is two other ways to name plane C? So this doesn't really matter here. We just need 3 points. All right, so this plane C, they're identifying plane C with this big capital letter in the corner, but it's not a point here. But we can name a plane by 3 points. So I always just make a little box to show that it's a plane, and I'm just going to do E, G, B, E. I don't know why I did a small case. Let me just change that. E, B, G, or we could do, how about we do B, G, F. Plane B, G, F. Just a quick disclaimer here. I am using this this writing pad to draw on the screen here, and I'm obviously not very good at it. I don't have great handwriting anyway, but I hope that as I keep using this, I'll get better. And I'm trying to write as neatly as I can, but just bear with me until I get there. All right, number 3, name 3 collinear points. Collinear points, we only have one option here. We've got 2 lines, but it looks like this line M only passes through 1 point. So really we have to use this line. I'm going to say this line N based on these 3 points because those are all on the same line. All right, so E, B, F. Name 4 coplanar points. Okay, well, those just have to be the points on the plane, and really we only have one option here because all these 4 points are on the same plane. Okay, just to remind you guys, C, N, and M, those aren't points. Those are just, C is a way to name the plane, and this is a different way to name this line, and then M is naming this vertical line. All right, so E, G, B, and F. All right, moving on. Name the segments in the figure. We can name a bunch of them. I probably won't name them all. A segment, we can use any of these, right? From point to point, we just have to label them correctly. So RS is one, and I'm not going to write the arrows. If you want to put dots on the end, you can. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that very well with this pad. How about RT? We could also go RW. Let's see, we could do ST. There's a bunch of options here. You probably won't get any wrong here. TW. I don't know, that's probably enough. All right, name the ray in the figure with the endpoint S. All right, so endpoint is S. Well, we can go this way and say SR. If you want to make it this way because it's going that direction, we can. And we could also go the other way and say ST, okay? Or we could label that same ray a different way. We could say SW. As long as so the important part is that we label this on top correctly. All right. Number 7, name the pair of opposite rays with the endpoint T. All right. So opposite rays mean they have to connect and make a line. Okay. So we could say TS or TR, doesn't really matter. TS going this way, and then TW going the other way. And when they connect, they make a line. All right, name another pair of opposite rays. That would have to have the endpoint S. Okay, so I could say SR going this way, or ST going the other direction. Or I could label that same ray SW. Okay, hopefully we recognize that's the same ray, it's just a different way to label it. All right, moving on. Name the intersections of planes QRS and RSW. The intersections of planes QRS. So let's see. Q is here, RS. Okay, so based on those three, I know that we're talking about this bottom plane. Okay, now let's use a different color. RSW. RSW, that means they're talking about this plane. Okay, so what would be the intersection here? Hopefully we remember that the intersection of two planes, even though it kind of looks like it would just be a segment SR, it's actually line RS, because remember planes extend forever in all directions. So this would be line RS. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and erase this. Name the intersection of planes TXW, TXW. All right, so it looks like that's that back plane there. Hopefully this isn't confusing. That does look confusing. Hopefully you guys can just see that. TXW would have to be the back plane. All right, on the back there. All right, and Q or UQX looks like that would be, let's change my color. Q, U, and X is there. So that's that side plane. So if we're talking about this plane over here, this plane back there, the intersection would have to be line XT. XT, put the arrows on top. There we go. All right, next one. Name two planes that intersect at QU. QU, so that is right here. Okay. So what two planes intersect there? It looks like it would be this side plane and this front plane. And so we can label that any way you want. Just use 3 of the points. So I'm going to make a little box and do the side plane, which I'm going to call X, U, and Q. And the other plane, I'm going to do the front one and do Q, R, V. Q, R, V. Okay. All right, name two planes that intersect at VW. VW. So that's right here. There's my line. VW. So that would have to be this plane on top and this plane on the bottom. So why don't you guys give that one a shot? Just go ahead and label it with, just like we did that one, with 3 points. All right. Draw an arrow to the plane that contains points RVW. RVW. Okay, it looks like it's that plane. All right. Moving on. Don't get confused by these. These are a lot easier than they look. It's just 4 collinear points. Just collinear just means it's on the same line, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Label them whatever you want. I'm just going to do A, B, C, and D. All right, so MA, we just have to look at the figure on top. Hopefully you guys can see this really well. There is no arrow on this side, but there is an arrow on this side. So this would mean this is referring to a ray. All right? If I'm going to draw this figure, I'm going to draw it like this. M, that's a bad M. M, why can't I draw an M right now? M, A. Okay. 16, can you draw line ET, because we got arrows on both sides, on plane D? All right, so let's make a big plane. I'm going to label it like that and just make a line. Boom. ET. All right, so don't overthink these. These are pretty easy. 4 non-coplanar points. Let's see. Why don't we make a plane? 4 non-coplanar, and let's make a line going through it. Let's do A, B, C, and so these 3 are coplanar. Let's just make sure we understand that this one's clearly not on this plane. All right, so that would be a non-coplanar point. All right, that is pretty much it. I probably gave you more than I should have as far as the practice problems. There's a few more. We might as well just go through these just because it's the first unit. So let's see, this section is who is right. Mr. Brust and Mr. Sullivan are arguing about who is correct. Help them settle each argument by explaining who, if anyone, is right. All right, let's see. So Mr. Brust is saying picture is called, looks like DB. Okay, so ray DB, and Sully is saying, no, it's got to be BD. Who is correct here? Well, let's look at this. They're saying, Mr. Brust is saying it's ray DB and the arrows go in this direction. Sully is saying BD with the arrow going through this point, but it looks like it stops here. So this one would have to be Mr. Brust. Mr. Brust is correct here because it shows, the ray shows it going from D through point B and on. So you guys can finish that any way you want. I'm not very good at writing words on this, so I will not. So I'm just trying, I only have 15 minutes to get through this video before it'll cut me off. So if I start talking real quick or if it just ends, you know why. 19, who's right? Mr. Sullivan says intersection of ABC, that's the top plane here, and CDH, that's this one here, is point C, and Sully says no, intersection of those 2 planes are point D. Who is correct? This is a trick question. Neither. They're both wrong. Neither is correct. Whoops. Come on, neither is correct because planes do not intersect at points. Planes intersect at lines. Okay, so the correct answer would be line DC. All right. So go ahead and write anything you want out. I don't want to type anything up because I only got about 50 seconds to finish this video. So last question, I'll try to go quick. Mr. Brust says segment BD and point D are coplanar. Sully says segment AB and point C are coplanar. Who, if anyone, is correct? So let's see. AB is here. All right, this right here. Boom. And point D is coplanar. Point D is over here. Is that on the same plane? And Sully says it's point C. Who is correct? Well, here it looks like they're both correct. Okay, because AB is sharing this plane with C, and also AB is sharing this plane with D. So they are both correct, and I got 3 seconds left, so that's all I got. See you guys.